What's going on, internet? Brandon here from nerdlocker.com, and we've got this week's comic book reviews for you. Now I'm starting off with Batman Eternal number 22. After the giant revelation of last week's reveal of the big bad guy. Spoiler alert, I'm going to say this, so if you don't want to hear who it is, just skip this review. Hush is behind everything, and that is awesome because he is one of my favorite Batman villains. I love that Scott Snyder is bringing him back into the fold in the New 52 because we haven't seen him yet. We also get to see the Architect, who, as you know, well, you should know, was one of Scott Snyder's stories as well. And I just really like how he's doing a very good job of bringing in as many Batman villains into this as he can, and just the overall plan of Gotham. I feel like as a writer, he really understands, or he really knows the city better than anyone else. Like, he has a very good understanding of the city and how important that character is to Batman in the Batman world. And I love how the entire time he's been writing Batman, this whole thing is about defending the city that is Gotham, rather than just fighting bad guys and, oh no, there's a hostage. Like, he's fighting for the place he was born in, the place that he defends, and he's being pushed every time. I mean, every story we get into, he's just being pushed to do more to defend it and save it. And I really like that. I really like just the view we're getting of his whole world. Either way, I love this book. I'm giving this 5 out of 5 nerd skulls because things are starting to get really good in this. So I suggest picking it up.
All right, guys, Cubby here with my comic reviews for this week. I got to read Original Sin number 8. I pretty much read all of these. I'm pretty sure I did. And as far as a event book goes, I feel this one was trying to make you like feel intrigued the entire time. Like, you wanted to know what the secret was. You wanted to know, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And I felt like about issue 6 or 7, I mean, it's pretty much the end of the book, but you kind of figure it out, kind of understand what the hell's going on. The meat of it, though, everything else in between was awesome, was really good, was just a great way of tying everything in together. And I feel like the tie-ins in this felt more closely related to what was actually going on, dealing with the ramifications of what everyone's finding out, yada, 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 in their own individual books. That was cool to me. That was interesting to me. It didn't make me feel like buying tie-ins would be a waste of money, like most of the time I feel it is. Anyways, Original Sin 8, though, you kind of see where things are going to be going in the Marvel Universe, as every good event book wraps it up. As it should. You see what's happening with Nick Fury. Does he die? Does he take up the mantle of something that we've kind of had in the Marvel Universe forever? I don't know. You need to read it. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Another cool thing was these villains that were kind of Z-listers coming into prominence because of this. Like, what's going to happen with the Orb? What's going to happen with the other chick, the Dominatrix chick, I forgot her name, Exterminatrix. I want to see where that goes. I want to see what happens with that, and I feel like they can actually turn into some pretty serious villains. The Orb almost reminds me, gives me the vibe of like a Joker type, where it's really intensely crazy, just nuts. Just, you don't know what to expect from this, because it's not like, you know, Yellow Jacket, the original Yellow Jacket, where he has a vendetta against this person, or Venom, who has a vendetta against Spider-Man as a person, and then he turns into this crazy homicidal maniac. You know, it's not easy to pick up what this person's going to do and why they're going to do it. You have no idea who this person is to begin with, and the fact that they're doing anything is kind of a shock. So I like that, because Marvel Universe is able to pull that off a little bit better than the DC Universe. Either way, heroes don't trust each other, of course. It's pretty much what we're leading up to, and if you're reading any other book in the Marvel Universe, you understand that that's pretty much the consensus with everyone. No one trusts anyone right now, mainly because of the Illuminati. And if you're reading the tie-ins, you kind of know that people are finding that out. It doesn't end it in this book with that revelation that these dudes are doing douchey things. But, I mean, if you're reading the Avengers tie-in, or the new Avengers tie-in, or anything. It's showing you what's going on with all that crap. So overall, for the entire series, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. And this issue, I'm going to do the same. 5 out of 5. It was action-packed. It was awesome. Thor's still crying about his hammer and how he can't lift it. He was like literally crying. It was kind of funny. Yeah, it's pretty intense. And as far as event books go, I think this is one of the stronger ones that Marvel has done in the last couple of years. And I really hope nothing too crazy happens to mess all this stuff up within the next 6 months. So let me know what you guys think.
Hey there, nerds. Jim here with my comic book reviews this week. And first up, I got to read The Terminator, Enemy of My Enemy, number 5. Been a big fan of this book. I really like where it had been going. Dan Jolly started a little maybe nervous in the beginning, thinking, oh, we're just rehashing an old, actually the original storyline. But it really took a twist. I enjoyed it. But now, it's been a while since there was a release, so I think it got a little delayed. But now it's kind of like, okay. I felt like we're doing a lot of flashbacking and learning more about Pharaoh, but I don't know how important that was. We start off right where we left off, where they get captured, and Terminator's down for the count, and Pharaoh Green's basically being chastised for being a traitor and all that. And that's where we jump into the flashback, and I wasn't interested, kind of lost interest, got a little bored. But then we pick back up with big battle fighting. That's what I like. We see the consummation of their deal and where that goes, which is nice. And there's still some story to be told. I'm very excited where that's going to go. But this episode this issue specifically, I wasn't feeling it. I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and give this one 2.5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. But that being said, overall, the story's been great. I can't wait to see where it ends.
All right, guys, I got to read The Death of Wolverine, number 1. Now, I'm sad to see Wolverine go. You know, these big X-Men rumors and everything going around about Marvel kind of ending the X-Men, this is starting to make a little more sense. But before I even get into this review, the inconsistency of Marvel is what drives me crazy about them. Because you'll have heroes here and they die and this guy's back and this and that and everything changes and no one really talks or communicates with anything. Case in point, in this book, Nuke shows up. Nuke. If you've been reading Captain America, I am pretty sure Nuke is dead. If I'm wrong on this, please correct me in the comments, because I thought he was gone. And if this is something else, if this is another person, I'm not really sure. But it really kind of pissed me off, because it was just a big, giant story in Rick Remender's Captain America, which I loved. And now it's like thrown away and who cares, and it's just, you know, another character we can use. So, I don't know. Straighten me out on that if I'm wrong, please, because I don't want to be, you know, misinformed, but that's what I thought was going on. That aside, it looks like we're getting a big send-off for Wolverine. I mean, it carries over from the series. This is the 4-part, though, and by the end he will be dead. And I'm interested to see how they decide to do this and what actually happens when it ends. It was a good first issue, with the exception of the Nuke fiasco. Like I said, hopefully I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. I'm giving this 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls just because I've had just the issues I talked about here. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments.
All right, guys, so I also got to read Avengers World number 12 this week. This one has been kind of a hit or miss title for me. Some of these issues have been amazing. Some of them have been really, really mind-blowing and like, oh man, that was awesome. Shining different characters in completely different lights. The last couple for this one, though, have been a little slow-ish, kind of not as crazy. Just it seems like they're giving all these other side characters kind of a chance to shine. I mean, Euroforce shows up, and like, I don't even remember Euroforce from being a kid, so it's kind of like, what? This is crazy. But it's still cool to see these intensely weird, like, international heroes coming together, doing their thing. Black Knight is an awesome dude. I think he's a really cool-looking character, and they give him a chance. And another thing, Morgan Le Fay being the bad guy in this, and like, she's a pretty hardcore bad guy. And the last page of this book shows you like ruthlessness is at its finest in a Marvel book that really like hits you hard. Like, you think something's gonna happen and something's gonna like totally work itself out. We got one more issue, then it's gonna be whatever. They're gonna move on to the next story arc. No, it takes it away as soon as it gives it to you, and it's really sweet. It's really cool, and it's with a character that I feel they could have done something really cool with, but nope, he's gone. Later. Bye. No more. So that was cool. I like when that happens, especially when it's not someone I'm totally in love with. So the fact that Hawkeye is in the book, did not die, and it was someone else, it's a win for me. But either way, getting back to the book and everything else that was crazy about it, Morgan Le Fay specifically, when the last time that we saw her, and she's a pretty big force of nature, a pretty horrible bad guy, but the last time we saw her was essentially a cameo in Age of Ultron. So I like that she's actually in the actual Marvel Universe being showed as a massive threat, and it takes multiple teams of Avengers to pretty much take her down. And at the end of this, she's not taken down yet. So can't wait to see what happens with this next issue. I'm going to give it 3.5 Nerd Skulls. And let me know what you guys think.
So next up, I got to read Big Trouble in Little China #4 from Boom Studios. Let me first start off by saying if you're going to be in Austin, Texas during MondoCon, you need to grab the variant cover for Big Trouble in Little China #1, which is Tyler Stout's original poster that he made way back, I don't even know, 2010 or so. It's amazing. Boom, Mondo hooked up. They're going to release that. Highly recommend you grab that. The comic itself, a lot of fun. It just captures the fun of Big Trouble in Little China. Jack Burton and his team are still trying to gather the 3 jars. They're in the other dimension. I don't want to give away too much, but they do succeed. But their success leads to ultimate failure as we get to see some original bad guys return, which is fantastic. I love how they are writing Jack Burton. They're just capturing his quips that make no sense most of the time. There's actually a touching little flashback too, which kind of feels out of place because you don't know where he's going with it. But I really enjoy this. I highly recommend you check it out. There's even, yes, a joke about Cleveland. I'm going to go ahead and give this 3.5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Check it out.
All right, I got to read Justice League #33, by far one of my favorite books in the DC universe right now. We still have the Doom Patrol and Lex Luthor and the Justice League all thrown down to stop Power Ring, the new Power Ring. And I really like this relationship between Lex Luthor and Batman. I love how Lex is constantly calling him Bruce in public, not caring. It's just interesting to see a different billionaire and his perspective on this hero thing compared to somebody else's. I kind of like him on the Justice League, to be honest. I really like the idea of this because I feel like there's some stuff we can actually do here. I love that Shazam is getting bigger parts on this team. He doesn't do much in this issue, but I like to see him there. I've always felt that he is one of the big guns that is totally underused, and I'd love to see an ongoing, and that's just me getting off track, but either way. The way they solve the Power Ring problem in here is awesome. I do like that now that Forever Evil's over, they're still dealing with things from that. It wasn't just like a one-and-done story where, oh, look, it's over, and now we don't have to worry about any of the crime syndicate ever again. It is cool seeing the Doom Patrol. I hope we get to see more of them. It seems like they're kind of done right now with the story arc, but it's always been one of my favorite teams, and I want to see more of it. But either way, big things in store for Justice League. Love the direction this is going in. Outstanding artwork by Doug Mankey. Jeff Johns is doing a great job with the book. I'm giving this 4 to 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys. So I also got to read Future's End #18. This one was another really, really big title that I was excited for, mainly because of last week's insanely awesome reveal as to who Superman was. Unfortunately, it doesn't really pick up on that too much. We kind of get a little bit of what's going on right after and during that battle, right after we find out who it is. But I feel like that was like the last issue was the big like plot twist part of it, and then this is kind of like, all right, well, we're going to need to start answering some questions and bringing some more questions up. And it does that pretty well, like the whole Constantine part of it, which was another crazy, huge reveal. That's kind of like, all right, what the hell's going on with this dude? Like, this guy is way too important to be feeling like this, to be talking like this, to be crying this much. Like, no, he needs to stop doing this crap. Like, what happened with this person? I don't want to give it away because it was one of my favorite parts of the last issue. If you haven't read it, you need to do that. We'll talk about it in a couple weeks. But either way, yeah, that was crazy. Terrific tech stuff. What the hell's going on with that? I'm actually really, really, really stoked on that too. But I feel like it's just going down a little bit more. It's like slowing down a little bit, trying to build up the intrigue again. Whatever. I just wish this Future's End would be nonstop, just bam, 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 bam. But it's 52 issues, and I don't think you can really pull that off all the time. So that being said, This was still a pretty awesome issue. It still had enough to keep you going, keep you interested, but I just wanted to be a little more excited in this last one. It wasn't, unfortunately, but whatever. Can't have your cake and eat it too. So I'm going to give it this 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls, and let me know what you guys think.
So finally I got to read Hawkeye vs. Deadpool number 0. I went into this knowing it was going to be a goofy book. It exceeded my expectations. It's Halloween in the book, and Hawkeye is handing out candy. And everybody comes to his door like, oh yeah, he's an Avenger. He hands out full-size candy bars. It's great. Except this year he's got fun size, and everybody's ripping on him. And it's funny because although I do think Hawkeye's a great character, I think a lot of times he's seen as sort of the Marvel version of Aquaman. Got a little inferiority complex going on there. And I don't know if it's warranted or not, but it's funny because they're playing on that. I mean, they're like, oh, in the second tier Avenger, here he is. And it's like, that's kind of funny. So it starts out where there's no verses at all in this book. It really is more of a team up. I don't know why they gave that illusion other than to sell more books maybe. But it's interesting because we get a reveal of a villain, but we see other villains who are they're not really villains, they're just bad guys dressed as other superheroes. Like we have one that's dressed as a Punisher, one that's dressed as Daredevil, and they take on Deadpool and Hawkeye, but they're clearly not them because their body shape is way wrong for those characters. And it's just interesting to see where's this going. And there's a great reveal on the last page. By no means am I saying this is the greatest written comic book of all time, but it's a lot of fun. If you want to have fun, check this out. It is definitely Deadpool at his finest as far as being goofy, and it tells its recent history as far as having a family and a daughter and all that weird, goofy stuff. Check it out. I'm going to give this one 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.